So hi everyone, welcome back to another scenario based question. So in today's video we would be understanding about a scenario that what happens if you are having a queuable apex and it fails due to some governor limit. So governor limits can be of SOQL or DML, or it could be your heap size or anything related to that kind, but that exception is that you cannot basically catch that exception. So what you generally do is you see into your apex jobs and you see that okay, this is this issue that is having that is causing some problem, right? But what if I told you that there is a way to catch these errors or to retry these mechanisms? Because sometimes what we do is in our queuable jobs we try to do a call out, right, to some third party endpoint, and what happens if the service is down, right? And is there any retry mechanism for that, right? So if that is the case, then we have to see that okay, what are the things that we can do in this one. So in order to deal with such type of mechanisms, so that if our main job fails, okay, if our main job fails, the secondary job should not fail, right? So this is our main context that we want to achieve. So for this, what Salesforce has come up with a way for a transaction finalizer. So what does a transaction finalizer means? That what it does is it is an interface, that is the system.finalizer interface, and it applies to only those apex jobs that uses the queuable framework. Okay, so only those jobs that implement the queuable framework. Okay, now the specific design or why it was designed was it was for a kind of a recovery, whereas if your queuable job fails, then also your transaction finalizer job would run regardless of the queuable job structure, right? What it can does is it can poll the status of your async apex job, that is the current running queuable job, and it can re-enqueue that job if you want, right? So what I wanted to tell you is that, or what some organizations do is that they do one kind of operation in this one. Let's suppose if you want to do a DML operation, you can just do it in the let's suppose you are doing the DML in the queuable and you are doing the REST call out in the transaction finalizer interface. Okay, so how does this happen? So basically what it does is, first of all, it has an extra advantage that if you use the finalizer interface, it does not count against as an extra async apex limit, but what it does is it has a limitation for the heap size or maximum number of apex jobs that are enqueued in the system. Okay, so you have to be aware of those things. Now this system.finalizer interface has some methods, that is the execute method. Okay, this what it does is it is enqueued with every queuable job that you are using. Okay, and how we attach a finalizer context with a queuable job, that I will explain you in some time. Okay, now this finalizer context, this interface, it contains four methods basically. First is the get async apex job id. What it does is the queuable job with which this finalizer interface is attached, it returns the id of that thing. Second is the get request id. It returns the id, a string that uniquely defines the request, right? Basically it can be related to your event monitoring logs, right? So that is one thing. You can get the parent job result, that you can check what was the result of the parent. Was it success or was it failure? Okay, or it was some unhandled exception, and there is another exception method as well. So how you would implement this is you have to attach this interface with your class. Now here is some example, but I have a very basic example than this, so we'll go to that first so that you guys have an idea that how and what it looks. So I have this class as transaction finalizer. It is implementing my queuable and a finalizer interface. For now what you do is just forget about the finalizer interface, just let's focus on the queuable interface. Let me just increase the font size for you guys, so that would be easy. So guys, in the execute method, what we are having is just ignore this line, and for now ignore this line. So let's suppose these lines didn't exist for us, right? So what this class is doing is this class is just querying the data, and what I'm doing is I am deliberately throwing a unhandled exception. So if you see, what I'm doing is, since it's a queuable, so for 200 up till 200 I can do a socle, but after that it will throw me a error that too many socle queries, right? And we cannot catch it, right? I have already did it as a try and catch, but again the execution will halt at this place, right? It won't go down. But using a finalizer interface, just I have added two things. That is, I have created an instance variable of this class transaction finalizer f. Now I have attached a finalizer with this. So whenever I attach this finalizer, the finalizer execute method would run. Okay, so what would happen here is, this finalizer context, it would run, and it is the parent job id. So what I am getting is the parent job id is using my finalizer context dot get async apex job id. So this was the first method that I wanted to tell you. See, you can use any of the methods. So from here I can get the id. So if I want, I can have a retry mechanism in here up to 5 times. So let's suppose if there is any API issue with the backend, so due to which it is not receiving any input, so up till 5 times we can retry this. So see, if your finalizer context dot get result is equal to parent job result dot success, right? Now these are the standard methods that are provided by our finalizer context. So parent job result dot success, what it does is, it will tell that whether it is a success or it is a failure. So in our case it would be a failure. So what it would do is, parent queuable job, it tells the parent job id with this method, and the fc dot get exception and dot get your get message, right? So I am again using my methods like get exception and the get message of this exception method. Now you would say that, some people would say that this parent job id, you can just copy it from the job id, right? Correct guys, but one thing to remember here is, as I told you, they both run in different transactions. Okay, so a transaction for our queuable would be a different transaction for our finalizer. Okay, now one thing to note here is, let's what we can do is, let's see this in action. Okay, I'm just saving this, and what I'll do is, I'll just enqueue my job. What I'm doing is, I am adding a transaction finalizer. Okay, I'm just doing a execute. So you would see, basically this is the first log, so that is from our anonymous window, and then we would be receiving 2 more logs. So see guys, it took some time and it returned me my logs. So the second log here is too many socle queries, and it went in here. It is the id of my transaction queuable job, and the system halted in here. But since we had attached our transaction finalizer in here, so if you see, I'll just debug this. So what I had here is, the parent queuable job, the parent job id failed due to the exception, and the exception details. So see, it says failed due to unhandled exception. The exception message was this, and this was the user debug that came after this. So what we can make use of this is, we can use it for the error logging mechanisms for particular instances where we want that particular thing, right? So we can use this particular transaction finalizer in those many places. So this is the document, Salesforce official document. You can go through in here as well, but I have tried to explain you in a bit simpler terms, because here they are also trying to like throw a error and just trying to catch this error. Here just they what have done is, they have created a error logging mechanism. So that you guys can also do on your own, but I think you got an idea that how you can do the retry mechanism, or you can do or breaks a transaction into two different transactions if required, based on this particular queuable scenario, right? Now you can see it says that retry queuable example. So there are some examples that how you can retry those examples, and these are some considerations that I have already mentioned you. So I hope you were able to get some insights of this video. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comment section. I would be happy to help.